Think of the planet as a car accident and is bleeding out on the side of the road. And if we don't do something, we got no one to blame but ourselves because we're capable of trying. How can we not try? You can do that all you want, but that doesn't...
Radiation alert. A nuclear scientist tells us the cleanup at Japan's Fukushima plant could take 100 years.
TEPCO, the company that owns the crippled plant, is still struggling to deal with the disaster. All 4 reactors are still emitting radiation, but TEPCO has made some progress.
This is what TEPCO wants us to see, the heart of the decommissioning work taking place here in Reactor 4. What TEPCO wants us to see, the heart of the decommissioning work taking place here in Reactor 4.
Has made some progress.
This is what TEPCO wants us to see.
Has made some progress.
This is what TEPCO wants us to see.
Some progress.
This is what TEPCO wants us to see. This is what TEPCO wants us to see. Wants us to see.
July 2017. I'm Dana Durnford, your host, the nuclear proctologist.org. We are live streaming up at Beautiful Girl by Dana on YouTube. I'm a nuclear expert in reactors and meltdowns, in mining, uranium stocks. There's over 9,000 facets of the nuclear industry. And I have dabbled into literally every one of them long before Fukushima happened. I was a notorious spammer, the worst spammer probably this planet has ever seen. I was spamming depleted uranium videos at the rate of around 1,100 per day. And I would flood countries. And so back when YouTube was still YouTube, it wasn't owned by Google, I saw that opportunity to be a great spammer. Yeah, but a good spammer. And they attacked me relentlessly for that. It was hard to keep the pace up, but we kept it up for about 4 years. And this is not a joke. This is 365 days a year. We spammed Russia, China used to keep kicking me out, Japan. I took over at one time. Now, I was learning, I had accumulated 7,000 lectures on nuclear before Fukushima happened. We've done 260 days expeditions at the coastline. We've covered now thousands and thousands and thousands of headlines just on Fukushima before we went on the ocean. And since that, I have acquired 6 gag orders. And so good morning to everybody joining the stream. We got questions and answers today. I'm the unorthodox, per se, nuclear expert, where I'm shunned by everybody because I refuse to equate it with a banana or a potato chip or walking in the sunshine or getting on an airplane or sleeping next to somebody, which are the laws of the industry for 74 years. And so by proxy, I am the only nuclear expert on the planet because I'll tell you the truth. I won't manipulate it. I won't deceive you. I think if you're able to get to the video or be on the live stream, then you're able to deal with the truth. And that's why you're here, hopefully. We do, like I say, have 6 gag orders against me. I do have some restrictions. We're at YouTube. Please give us a share, thumbs up if you can. Also, Facebook, if you can, that'd be appreciated. Twitter, if not, how else are we supposed to grow and be able to operate and spread? We're the only platform on the planet that's telling the truth about nuclear. Everybody else has sold the lie. They never bought into the lie. They've created it to spread the lies, the manipulations, the deceptions. So, for instance, think about nuclear says, oh, well, wind doesn't blow all the time. But if you listen to people that actually talk about this seriously, they'll tell you the wind blows all the time on the mountains. So why not put your windmills up there? Well, that would put nuclear power plants and the big polluters. The worst polluter is nuclear. It's the worst carbon machine on the planet is nuclear. They constantly claim that it's carbon-free, but that's the only handle now we see them using. And to say nuclear is carbon-free is ludicrous. Right? And so you can get distracted with all that nonsense if you like. I like it. Nuclear. Woo! Yo, 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 yo. I mean, they'll be your bosses in the near future, so suck it up. Here's the old dinosaurs, and when you shine a light on them, they get pretty cranky. They do so. They don't like anybody talking about them for some reason. The nuclear industry is the zombies of the planet. If you're pro-nuclear, you're a zombie. If you think nuclear is trendy or cool or useful, you're a zombie and a monster. And you're dangerous to everything else and everybody else on this planet. This is you. That's all you can do is attack. And so the people that think that other species from the intergalactic world should come here and solve our problems, you're gonna lose everything because of you. And here's you in your typical daily habits. You would suffocate yourself if you had to do things yourself. This is how your world, you'll attack everything around you. You're a danger to society. This is a pro-nuclear proponent. They're hideous creatures, and they don't understand why no one likes them in their real life. It's because they're hideous creatures, yeah? Their whole future is predicated upon you creating a robotic industry to control you, so they can be your overlords too, right? And as long as you play into this, we're going to get to the questions coming up. As long as you play into that, then you become that slave, that zombie that you fear. They have demons that do their work, and we're here to stomp them into the ground. We're no longer afraid to speak out. We're not afraid of their threats anymore. They distract you by claiming the Earth is flat, and my answer is what? Like all the rocks in space, meteorites in space, like all the planets in space, Earth is flat. Get the fuck out of here. So you can fill yourself up with all kinds of fantasy, but clear the cobwebs out, get all the bats out of the closet. And in the old days, we dealt with our problems. We got rid of our fucking problems. We didn't whine about it. We dealt with it. And that was the end of our problem. And that is the future, because we won't be given a chance to have a conversation. So we'll end up going back to those old ways, sure as shit. The Hulk, Superman, and Spider-Man are put on the planet to fuck up your kids and you. Right? To muddle the water, claiming that nuclear is somehow going to turn you into a superhero. And you have all these fantasy movies indoctrinating everybody, t-shirts and caps and bumper stickers. They're fucking everywhere. The actors are then put in other movies with those connotations, right? And so your whole world is played out for you, and you're not allowed to have a conversation. And now look what you got done. You killed the Pacific Ocean. Dana, how can human beings be standing on the top? Well, they send up the homeless and the destitute for photo shoots. They die shortly after. Is one way they do it. Let me get back there. Now, the dome, they're not putting a dome on Unit 3 yet. They're planning on putting a dome on Unit 3. They're not doing it. That's their intentions, is to bring in this prefab dome. And that's not supposed to be humans on top of Unit 3. So anybody's not familiar with what Unit 3 looks like, very quickly, is like the one to your left is Unit 3. And it's supposed to look like the one on your right. And Unit 3 was completely and utterly destroyed, 100% annihilated. And so the dome that they're going to put there is a fable. It's a prefab. And once again, if anybody goes up there, you get a deadly dose. Now, you might not die right away because you have all this prefab material between you and the roof, and you're only there for a couple of hours. You very well might get away with it, but the idea is to get pictures. And so it doesn't matter if you fall down, as long as they got their picture or a little video clip and they stuck it up on the internet, and everybody's like, well, I don't see no danger, Dana. Now, we know this because it's gamma shine, X-rays, and neutron bursts. Unit 3, which you're looking at behind me, was the mixed oxide fuel. And so that's it had reactor cores stored at the top of the building. They're all gone. And so they can Photoshop it in. It's really easy for them to Photoshop something in, like on a video or something like this. And remember, you can put 2 million atoms with isotopes in it on the head of a needle, but you can't see it. What's the difference between sieverts and counts per minute? And can you convert one from another? Yeah, and so sieverts is like heat from a wood stove, right? It's a gamma shine. It's like an X-ray, but it's extraordinarily powerful. It can melt your organs in a few minutes if you're too close to it. It's a deadly dose by walking by it. Counts per minute is the atoms that are floating around, the particles, the isotopes in the atoms, or the contaminated airborne particle that have come in contact with fission products. And they're one and the same in my books. They're both going to irradiate your cells. And once again, for anybody who's not familiar, cancer is the last one to show up, but it will show up 10, 20, 30, 40 years after the infection. So sieverts, 3 sieverts is a deadly dose. You're going to get that kind of dose from being right alongside the reactors within 900 feet of the reactors. So people that were allegedly sent up on top of the reactors, they're getting hit by sieverts. They'll be dead within days or weeks or months at best, depending on how much shielding. But you need 10 feet of shielding, and we're talking about like lead and stuff to protect you from the gamma shine or X-rays or the fuel rods or the melted reactor cores. Anybody within 900 feet minimum, 3 football fields, is getting a deadly dose. But it could take a year or 2 to show up, to finish them off. Not show up, it'll show up long before that. But generally, like in ingesting isotopes, which is counts per minute, there's 1,800 diseases will show up before the cancer, because you're not getting massive doses per se. But a single atom will get you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Color correction image showed constant flow of smoke and steam from reactors unit 2, 3, and 4. So they were gone into a chain reaction, melted down. There was no way you can't put out the fire, see? So what you see behind me is a representation of isotopes in your ear that you're breathing. And so there's no way to avoid it when it happens, and it happens. High concentration radiation hit the US and Canada, and the plume was rich in cesium to the surface from Vancouver southward. See also Hawaii and Florida. When do my gag orders expire? In about 2.5 years. And so they're going to give me another 6 gag orders, or kill me. Most likely kill me. That's what they generally do with people when they give them gag orders. They don't kill them right away. They give them gag orders, and then they mysteriously die later. The fission, the corium, which is when the reactor melts down, now the liquid uranium is called a corium. It's just, it's the isotope that is its biggest byproduct. In just the fuel rod, after the fuel rods go through a chain reaction, the biggest byproduct of a nuclear power plant is not iodine or cesium, they're tracers. The biggest byproduct, and they're very deadly, by the way, but the biggest byproduct is curium, and curium is brutal. Curium is brutal. They killed all the dogs the same as humans. 9,000 Fahrenheit degrees temperatures, we have nothing that can contain it. Anything we throw at it, it'll atomize an aerosol, and those isotopes and atoms become fission right away because they come in contact with the 9,000 degree Fahrenheit liquid uranium core. There's a mouthful. And so there's nothing can stop it. Theoretically speaking, this is what a China syndrome postulation exists. But Fukushima is special. Fukushima is totally special because it was reactor buildings, had reactor cores stored above it, decades worth of reactor cores. So it's not like a single reactor core, which is still brutal on the planet. This is brutal. This is devastating. This is catastrophic. This is an extinction event, just a single one. Ultimately, it will lead to an extinction event with a single reactor. Might take 100 years, but you're going to end up with an extinction event with a full-blown, with the type of fuels we're talking about. Now, we know they raised the drinking water standards in Canada to 7,000 becquerels a litre, which is 7 million becquerels a square metre, which is 1,000 litres. I advocate getting short showers, not double rinsing your clothing. And so don't buy harsh chemicals to wash your clothing with. Look for the natural solution and just rinse it once. And think about buying disposable clothing that if you're out in heavy rain when there's big releases, you can dispose of before you go in your house or right away and bring it back outdoors in a garbage bag and dispose of it. And they really done it to us, right? And you bioaccumulate it. Now, potassium, rubidium, natural stuff that we are acclimated to through genetic superior selection, our body treats it as homeostasis. In other words, it regulates it. So, say I got 7,500 becquerels per second decay of potassium-40, which is harmless, irrelevant. You can't survive without it. Your body's made of it. But they flipped that and said that it's here, it's there, it's everywhere, so it's good for you. Therefore, the stuff from Fukushima is the same, or any other nuclear power plant. But that's not why we got terrorist laws. That's not why we spend billions of dollars on each of them for security, right? That's not why all the animals died in all the studies. And so there's this whole disparity of facts and fiction and lies, manipulations and deceptions. And so when I say to you, get fucking shorter showers. Don't get in the bathtub shit. Don't do that with your children. Don't fucking do it. There's a reason. I don't want to say that to you or anybody else. I'm terrified or horrified is a better way of putting it. Every time I have to say that, every time I think about it, I'm terrified. Because my mind starts moving in those directions and I don't want to say the things that I know are true. But how am I supposed to, I can't. Not, right? That's why I exist. The idea is, because everybody else is lying to you, somebody has to exist. And yeah, I got 6 gag orders for these antiques that are the desperate struggle of the planet, right? And the people that stopped this planet are well known now. The people that stopped me and put the gag orders against me, they got some serious answering to do to the whole population coming up in the next couple of years. They're not going to escape the wrath of the planet. And I'm not going to shut up for anybody. And if you want to kill me, whatever. If you're going to fucking put me in jail, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I care, but there's nothing, I'm not going to stop. Just because you're able to manipulate the system and punish me, fuck you. I'll break your neck if I ever catch you. All the telephone poles around them were torn out, right? They lost all their ability. So within a few hours, these reactors will melt down. So I have always assumed they all melted down. That's why we see the death of the Pacific. That's why the Pacific had died so quick. That's why all the birds and the animals and mammals were emaciated this year, in particular and last year, was because there was more than one facility that went down. And we have a lot of documentation to support that. Now, a lot of these isotopes, you can't find it on your Geiger counter. The uranium, plutonium, the americium, the neptunium, you're not going to find it on my Geiger counters. All you're going to do is find a tracer, and then you have to extrapolate. So if you pick up, say, 100 counts per minute of iodine-131 with a Geiger counter that can pick that up. Well, there was 10 times more 132 that your Geiger counter couldn't pick up, and 30 times more iodine-133 your Geiger counter definitely can't pick up, and 31 times more iodine-129 that your Geiger counter couldn't pick up. But the reactor's running uranium and plutonium. and definitely not going to pick that up. And they had to be there for the other ones to be there. The other ones are the byproduct. The reactors are full of uranium, not iodine and cesium or strontium or americium or neptunium or plutonium, right? And so the iodine 132, 133, 129 ionized radiothyroid glands 9 times more effective. 9 times more effective than the iodine 131. Because it's such a friggin' complicated industry, because of what they got done for 74 years, the lies they have told for 74 years and continue to tell today. We're acclimated through cosmic rays, through genetic superior selection. Yeah, you might get skin cancer, what they call a skin cancer. But that skin cancer is from an isotope landing on your skin. It's not from the sunshine. Yeah, your skin will burn if you stay in the sun all day. We've known that for hundreds of thousands of years. Right? It's not going to destroy you per se. The isotope will land on your skin and burn a hole in it, and it'll stay there forever and won't heal. And so radiation from atmospheric testing is totally different than cosmic rays. I'm the only person who's ever come out and told the truth. I'm the only person, period, that's ever had a full show 5 days a week on nuclear in its history. No one's ever done that to the industry without them screaming, bananas, potato chips. There's nobody out there, actually, period, has ever done a 5 day a week nuclear show. We're it. Like, I don't do this by myself. I do this with all of you. You are the guys to make it possible. Thank you, everybody. Lucas London is one of my biggest haters. His employees are vicious thugs or monsters. He's the guy who's liquidating everybody's stocks, getting them to buy uranium stocks by having the Globe and Mail, CBC pander to him at his whim. He's a true demon, a true devil. His history worldwide has been to impoverish the communities they set up their operations and to victimize the people who opposed them. And his little fucking world is coming to a crunch. He will pay for what he's doing because the world will turn on him soon. How can the industry be so callous, so heartless, so murderous, and true evil? It's because there was no one to hold them accountable. Their children grew up doing it. Their children were raised to do it, and their children were raised to do it for the last 74 years. So the current order of inbreeds that have taken over the industry, they're entitled. They live this entitlement life. Think about a nuclear power plant. Billions and billions of dollars. No one knows where it goes. If you take a picture, the police rush you and arrest you. And there's all this security and fear fucking mongering. And there's just all this money thrown at it. And it's because these people, these inbreeds, these degenerates, that should never had a fucking job, never been allowed to reproduce, are now at the top of the food chain. And now our lobbyists, are now our government entities, are now running our public institutions. It can all be traced right directly back to the nuclear industry. April the 16th forecast showed a radioactive cloud from Texas to Canada. Calgary Sun, no need to panic, probably. About Fukushima fallout that rained on the Canada. The government hasn't even released the data. Well, he turned off the Geiger counters here in British Columbia, yeah? There you go. Canada suspends mobile radiation measurements around Vancouver. No, it happens automatically. I got no idea where all the material comes from. I sit here and everything just happens automatically. It's the weirdest damn thing. I don't know how it all works. It's magic. No, I actually went and done everything myself. Got everything, found everything, searched everything, vetted everything. So they turned off the Geiger counters March the 22nd. They were turning it off in Saanich in Victoria. That's where I got my gag orders from the fuckers. Nuclear fallout will engulf Taiwan. Down there, they didn't turn it off. Down there, they said, take off your clothing, and cleanse the nuclear contaminants, throw away your clothing in Taiwan. They've done the same thing in South Korea. In Canada, they turned off the Geiger counters and said, fuck you. New types of, so they will fucking pay in the next couple of years for that one. Canadians are not going to sit idly by when they find out what happened. They will. You can't hide the death of the Pacific Ocean. New type of Fukushima forecast showed radioactive cesium iodine. Now, they are tracers over large sections. So large sections were highly contaminated. Well, then the iodine goes away in fucking 8 days. Yeah, it's a tracer. It meant that thousands of other isotopes, and there's incredible amounts of each of them, are there. It's a tracer. It meant you're now under siege. When you see cesium and iodine, that's their way of covering it up and emitting it. But anybody in the know knows cesium and iodine is a tracer. Right? Any academic would have known it. Would have been, holy fuck. Horrified. I really am horrified. Nuclear expert. That the feds abandoned the Fukushima nuclear monitoring. Oh yeah, man. All of the western U.S. and East Coast, Midwest, Canada covered with radioactive particles at various altitudes, all the way down to the ocean floor, all the way to the upper troposphere. And the plume model you're looking at is based solely on the number one explosion. Most of them, like this one coming up, is based on the number two venting, not based up on any explosion. Doesn't include the data from number one. It's based up on its own. So radioactive particles appear to concentrate over the surface of Northern California with another one. This is shocking stuff. New York Times confirmed it with 181 times above the drinking water standard. Right? And the people you put in charge, your friends, your neighbors, your family members, have fucked everybody on the planet at the same time. Nobody done their job. You gave the agencies, the employees, the universities, the authority, the monetary, the ability, the task of finding it if it ever happened. You're screaming, oh, North Korea's going to get the bomb. Iran's going to get the bomb. And it happens, you have an accident, everybody goes, let's bury it, let's hide it so we can keep our jobs for a couple more years. Tell everybody it's like a banana, and now look at the damage and the danger we're actually in because of it. Look at the harm that's done to us because cowards, like this model from Noah, the model from Noah of the radioactive fallout from venting from just a single reactor. But instead of using that model from Noah, they ran out, this is Discovery Channel, with this model from Noah of the tsunami and said everybody's idiots who thinks that's radiation. In reality, Noah's model was right here. This is based over 40 days. I'll speed it up. And so that was the model. So instead of showing you the real model over there, they showed you the fake one. Instead of showing you the real number 4 reactor behind me, they showed you the fake one. And I'm the bad person. We're not going to pretend that these people are human ever. This is a fucking monster. He's never, this is not just once. He done it 2 years later again. That's a monster. That's a fucking demon. He should be kicked the shit out of him and thrown in jail. No, police are sitting there right now monitoring me, waiting for me to say something salacious so they can arrest me again or give me more gag orders. They're not going to go get the monsters that turned off the Geiger counters in British Columbia, because that was them. Because they're demons. They got me censored on YouTube beyond imagination for the last couple of years straight. I mean, real demons. There's no other way to explain it. You think about it, like the forest fires, it's a lot of heat. It drives way the fuck up, right? And we know this because we know forest fires travel all the way over and pollution because we got the studies on it, right? It comes, atmospheric pollution comes right across the Pacific Ocean. Therefore, so does the radiation, what you're looking at right there. It doesn't just drift past us. It's the equivalent of a snowstorm, except the snow never melts. You know how a snowstorm works, don't you? You know how a rainstorm works? Well, just because this is not wet or just because this doesn't sit there and visually see it like snow, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same kind of amount. We've seen 200 million becquerels. Atomic decays, 55 is an evacuation zone, but 200 million of iodine-129 per liter of rainwater. We've seen 20 million particles of iodine-131 per liter of rainwater. In studies, we've seen 1,500 sulfur peroxide hydrogen buckyballs spraying the salt water on the reactors, ingesting uranium, plutonium, americium, neptunium, hot particles inside them become little nuclear engines in California, in Seattle. We've seen it. We confirmed it. We've seen the modelings of it. We have no illusions about it. We know it because we have studies on other pollution that actually will come over here. And they come out and they pump out the fake pictures to destroy everybody's narrative. They roll out people like Gunderson and people like Busby.
Having said all this stuff, I know it sounds a bit...
Who's going to tell you that it can't get here because it's too far away?
Waffly. But I mean, I would like to wait and see somebody actually measure the gamma radiation spectrum of whatever it is that's supposed to be coming in and causing the irradiation of America, because it's very hard to imagine how there could be a 5-fold increase in natural background radiation from the sort of material that's coming from Fukushima. It's just too far away.
Now, he's the fucking expert. But yet here's Japan.
The images indicate that on the 4th day after the being vented, the substances reached the west coast of the United States. And
right.
Computer simulation shows how radioactivity is spread around the world from the disabled Fukushima Daiichi plant.
Right, so he shows
images indicate that on the 4th day after the being...
He shows the jet streams, but Busby...
How there could be a 5-fold increase in natural background radiation from the sort of material that's coming from Fukushima.
Fuck you.
It's just too far away.
Of course it's not. It's too far away. But yet all the pollution could fucking make it here. That's tens of thousands of times bigger than the radioactive particles from Fukushima, but they can't make it here. We're being honest. We're being genuine. We're not fucking around. We're game on. You can get genuine Geiger counters from Fleabag, which is lingo for eBay, I guess. But you want to buy real Geiger counters. The very basic standard are the inspectors. That's $1,000 plus for a very basic one that's acceptable. Everything else is just fucking garbage. The stuff Safecast is using in Japan, they're friggin' garbage. These are garbage Geiger counters. They make them themselves, for fuck's sakes, on top of that. No, it's meant to fuck you. They're working at everything they can to fuck the planet so it can't survive. They're doing everything they can to kill the planet right now. Yeah, they want to keep me quiet till the Olympics are over. Strontium milks. Thank you. That was a good point, actually. Now, at the Fukushima Daiichi plant, the common spent fuel pool, which allegedly looks like this right now, of course, doesn't. We know all the windows were torn out of it because this thing ran through it. So if that thing ran through it, which it did, then the common spent fuel pool, which is this here, doesn't exist. This is fake. And then, I can't remember, it was 400,000 rods times 18 pounds each rod is in that pool. Now, you don't pick up all these bags because it's like rocks, oil, or it's like Sunshine James, or it's like Bananas John, or it's like Potato Chips Kathleen Higley. And that girl in the middle there, she's not Jerry Thomas. She's Kathleen Higley. That's Jerry Thomas, right? I can't remember. Robert.
I'm involved very much. Yes, as a.
I don't see his name. His name usually pops up.
What do we consider negligible? Where does a CT?
Hang on.
Just
there it is. Robert Gale. Imperial College, which is the same college as Jerry Thomas, right?
Well, in terms of the actual risks, there aren't any that anybody needs to be worried about.
She treats children for cancer, folks. So it's not like a banana, okay? It's not like potatoes or sunshine or the rocks. Or if it was, why are they picking up 30 million one-ton bags? And then why is the Japanese Times, who friggin' hates my guts, got me blocked, by the way, after they come out and smeared me, discharges of Fukushima nuclear material in the Pacific effectively contaminated the sea, 2013. But when they convicted me and gave me 6 gag orders to silence me for calling out the monsters, the lawyers, the demons, that's what it was. They just used certain people and corporations to come after me, but it was about calling out all these demons. TEPCO proposing more of it be dumped into the ocean. Now, I'm trying to tell you a story as uneloquently as it might seem. I am telling you a story. And this is Noah's model. The fallout covered all the ocean right away. So all the way from the ocean floor to the upper troposphere was covered. But it's still pouring into the ocean all day, every day, don't get me wrong. That's horrible. It gets here in 45 days, that route. But it covered the whole ocean, the whole continents in 40 days, right around the whole planet. That's what that model is based over, a 40-day model. And so picking up 30 million bags in their own country is just, it's really not very much when you can consider how much came out of there, yeah? And so what 40% of the Fukushima visitors showed internal exposure to radiation, now you can kind of understand why they picked up 30 million one-ton bags, because you got everybody going to the hospital and you get all these diseases, illnesses, and autoimmune deficiencies will show up long before cancer, right? All these, so diabetes would show up in mass long before Alzheimer's would show up in mass. You would expect to see stuff like that. And so you picked up 30 million one-ton bags right away because the buildings actually are destroyed. Not because it's like a banana, there's no... And so when you hear them saying there's no health effects, or it's going to be too small, why did you pick up 30 million bags? Well, because it's actually not like a banana or sunshine or airplanes. They were professional lawyers, but they're also no professional killers. They actually work in hospitals killing children with man-made radiation for a living all day. And you're going to sit there and take it, aren't you? You're going to sit there and suck it up. Say, well, that's it, boy. I'll let them kill me. I don't care. Because you'll be looking up one of these days, you'll see him, and you'll remember my words. NHK broadcast warning about internal exposure. Internal exposure. Even a low dose will cause damage. So now, when it came to North America, this qualifies as a low dose, but it actually was a high dose, and I'll show you what I mean by those words coming up. But think about that dose. That's a low dose, then you can kind of interpret it, compared to being by Japan, yeah, where there's 30 million one-ton bags already picked up. So even a low dose will cause damage. But this is another radioactive model of xenon, and the other one you looked at was of cesium. That one, cesium, I'll speed it up. This one, xenon. It's already in full speed mode. And so TEPCO admitted in 2013 that they knew for 2 years already that a massive, there's an understatement, because the whole ocean was already covered in radiation immediately, all the way to the ocean floor, all the way to the upper troposphere. And a massive amount of water flows on the Fukushima plant, and officials are unable, or unwilling really, to explain why they kept a secret. And this is a secret that matters. This is a issue that matters. This is a story that is not going to change. In a couple of weeks, everything will be fine from now or something like that. Or a couple of decades, everything's going to be a lot better, Dana. No. You'll come back looking for me in the future. You might despise me right now or hate me or loathe me all you want. And you might fear me because you're with the industry. But you're going to admit that you're going to find me again down the road so you can learn. So you can get a good foundation. There's no way around that. I'm that person. Even though I got 6 gag orders, right? Because certain justice wouldn't have put up with it, I guess, so they let me go. But 6 gag orders so they can monitor me in real time. So they can censor me in real time. So they can hack everything I got in real time. So they can terrorize me, intimidate me, and try to coerce me. Oops, wrong guy. Does great work that way with data. I'll fuck you up if I catch you. Don't think I won't. I'll rip your fucking heads off if I catches you. You know it. You got to do it the other way. I ain't going to be bullied. You ain't going to bully me. You ain't going to intimidate me, you little fucks. I don't give a fuck how big and tough you think you are, how fancy your car is. I'll knock you fucking out so quick, you don't even know what happened. You'll be crying. I don't remember getting knocked out. The fucking little Newfie whacked me like a stick. Let's get something straight. Don't underestimate the reality of somebody fighting for the planet. What I'm capable of. Fukushima fallout lingered above the ground to be inhaled. Now, Chernobyl, they were spraying reagents over it all day. 600 helicopter pilots died, right? 30 million one-ton bags, so it's liberating into the environment constantly. That's why they're picking up all these bags. Too many venues. Hot particles and melted fuel are inhaled by children every day. We're forced to have it in our bodies. Please let all the people in the world know the life we are living. Yes, agreed. And back then, I heard that plea. Trust me. Back then, I took that to heart. Back then, I went to battle, and that battle is not slowed down. Oh, no. It's gotten a lot more intense. Trust me. You can't even go back to your graveyards. Huh? Suck up those words. That was my loved ones in that graveyard. There'd be somebody paying a fucking price today. Yeah. You can't go back to your graveyards. Fuckers, man. Nuclear. Who cheap the meter, Dana? Clean green. Keep watching. Uninterrupted line of radiation stretched across the Pacific, tracking towards the west coast of US and Canada. Canada. Can't remember. Canada. Yeah, we're getting through it, aren't we? Slow it down. We still got 15 minutes left. Unprecedented spike in 1,501 atoms of radioactive sulfur per meter in the California air. But that would have been emblematic if you look at the map down there of all of North America, but it was documented by an institution in California in the California air. In the air, breathing it. And so, what does that mean, Dan? I'll get to it. Now, think about how you got 1,500 particles in a cubic meter air, 9 feet by 9 feet, and inhaling just one radioactive hot particle, which everything coming out of a meltdown is a hot particle, by the way, can cause a cancer. Now, I know what you're saying. It tends to concentrate in the testicles. Now, let's go back and look at the previous headline one more time for you. Inhaling one hot radioactive particle can cause cancer. A particle is one of those atoms. 360 plus a day. Now, cancer is the last thing to show up. So diseases like heart, liver, lung, respiratory are 5 or 10 years down the road after the initial exposure. These were big exposures. These were brutal exposures.
It should take away with it that the exposures to the populations are very, very low. And as such, there's no opportunity to conduct epidemiologic studies that have any chance of detecting excess risks. The doses are just too low.
Now, if you've got 360 in one day ingestion, that's not too low. That's a real dose. You know why? Because a single one of them is enough to give you cancer, and you're living in an environment, say, in America, where you're getting 1,500 atoms per cubic meter, and in Japan, where you're picking up 30 million one-ton bags, and you got this bag of shit coming out and saying nobody could be affected because there was nothing there to affect them when you picked up 30 million one-ton bags. But if that's not bad enough, you got the biggest names like Christopher Busby saying it can't make it to North America.
I mean, having said all this stuff, I know it sounds a bit waffly, But I mean, I would like to wait and see somebody actually measure the gamma radiation spectrum of whatever it is that's supposed to be coming in and causing the irradiation of America, because it's very hard to imagine how there could be a 5-fold increase in natural background radiation from the sort of material that's coming from Fukushima. It's just too far away.
But calling the stuff from Fukushima natural background radiation. It's not too far away. We got the models, and there's a spectrometry, xenon 133.
Computer simulation shows how radioactivity is spread around the world from the disabled Fukushima Daiichi plant.
And so
the images indicate that on the 4th day after being vented, the substances reached the west coast of the United States, and on the 7th day, they approached Iceland after crossing the Atlantic. The radiations reached the west coast of the United States, and on
the fourth day, anyway, is what he's saying, right? It reached the west coast of the United States. But don't tell that to Buzzbay, because it's too far away. It can't make it there. But he's one of the #1 nuclear activists on the planet, still active. And he's really slick. I got a great big follower on that guy. Really old stuff. He's something else. We're going to do a real good presentation on all of these fuckers one of these days near. So radioactive dust reported in Tokyo after recent fog. 4,000 becquerels a kilogram, basically. Contamination never disappeared. Be careful. So you're breathing it because it's reliberated. And then picking up the bags is just picking up the bags. You're not putting them somewhere. They're still hemorrhaging isotopes into the environment. Right? So these are full of hot particles. Everywhere, there's like 10,000 of these or more dumps just around Fukushima Prefecture where they're going to have the Olympics, some parts of the Olympics. You can't avoid it. You're going to have to breathe it in. And a single atom is enough to get you down the road. Not going to drop you right away, but it'll get you 5-10 years down the road, or a lot quicker. Because this is not like a single exposure. You can't hold your breath, and it can permeate right through your skin. But I need 6 gag orders to stop me from talking about it. Radioactive pollen, Tokyo, 2,000 grains inhaled in 1 cubic meter of air. And can easily fly from Fukushima. Yeah, pollen will travel right around the planet, for Christ's sakes. So these are all victims. Plus, look at the 1-ton bags. Look at the size of these things. There's 30 million trucks, 1-ton trucks around the planet. There's 5 rows of traffic around the planet. And so the buildings they're claiming it's good looking, but it's gone. We got these incredible numbers of grain, pollen, and fog, for Christ's sakes. And how much atoms hit North America, and how much it takes to hurt you. And 1,500 atoms per sulfur. This was a sulfur peroxide hydrogen buckyballs from spraying salt water on the reactors. And all of Japan is radiated. And Arnie Gunnarsson is out there saying nothing hit North America. Ignore everything. Listen to him only. The death ash was obviously dispersed everywhere after Fukushima's releases. Hot particles attaches to clothes. And the media brainwashing the public. And it showed up everywhere because they're picking it up everywhere. Yeah? Because the buildings are actually destroyed. 70% of the children tested. 70%. 70%. Think about that. That's game over. That's catastrophic. If a terrorist was to detonate a dirty bomb in your community, 70% of the children had internal radiation, you'd be freaking out, yeah? You'd lose your fucking mind, wouldn't you? You'll be looking for revenge, yeah? You've done it to yourself. And so you won't stand tall now and accept the responsibility. You'd rather exterminate the planet than tell the truth. You'd rather kill the whole planet rather than have your family look at you and know you're a scumbag. I get it. So we're here to fight. There's a war. We are at war with you. You are at war with us long before we understood it. Now we will reciprocate, and you will find we are a worthy fucking foe. You are our prey. We are now the predator. We will hunt you fucking down over the next decade and deal with you. You fucks that lied and manipulated and put us in this position. Even without me, this will come to fruition because you have put the planet in jeopardy forever. You've jeopardized everything and the entire 8 million species on the planet are now on their fucking knees because of you. Onset of radiation-related diseases begin in 4 to 5 years. Data must be gathered now. We shouldn't force upon people that low-dose radiation exposure is safe because it's obviously patently absurd to suggest it is when we know it's not. Right? They have to come out and lie to you and pretend it's like that when it's not like that. So that tells you how your media, the betrayal, because this is what your media showed you. No one, Arnie made the assemblies, wouldn't even come out and say that picture was fake. No. He was in the articles. 100% traitor. Yet he showed up with headlines like this, right? To co-opt the operation, to get some street cred. See? Damage at Unit 2 is what prompted TEPCO to discuss evacuating Fukushima workers, perhaps because the reactors burned, number 2, continuously for several days, as the NRC admits, but we're still fighting about it today. To keep the deception alive, right? That's why Arnie exists. That, not only that. Him and Magpie, sold us out, man. They sold us a false bill over and over and over and over 6 fucking years. That's the end of them. That's the end of their fucking getting away with it. They get called out constantly. Everything they do now gets scrutinized. Everything. The buildings are destroyed. And the people we put our faith into, we got 3 headlines left. Going to finish up early today. The melted fuel from reactor 3, which is that one there, it's gone. It's supposed to look like this building, which is gone, by the way, on the inside. It burned continuously inside for 2 days. It just went straight down into the earth. And now they say they got a robot went in there in the last week. We haven't seen the end. They haven't shut up. You can't get in there. There's no reactor to send a robot into. There's no fuel pool there. Everybody's like, oh, they're in the reactor core, in the submerged reactor core. The fuck are you talking about? Really? You think there's something waterproof there that can hold water? Really? Really? You got any idea how stupid that would sound if you said that to somebody that knew anything? If you showed a picture to somebody, oh yeah, there's a pool of fucking reactor core in there. We're so lucky it didn't get busted. Buddy, look at you and you're like, you need fucking a drip, buddy. So Chicken Neck, Arnie, made the assemblies.
Now, the division I ran built nuclear fuel racks for boiling water reactors exactly like Fukushima.
Exactly like Fukushima. For 70 power stations, sites. He's as embedded as you can get. And he fucked you. And he's continuing to doing it. And he just produced a study, said no fallout in North America. Only they found lots of natural background radiation, though. Swear. Right, I covered it yesterday. It's sickening. I never even slept the night before. I was that sick to my guts. Runoff from the molten atomic cores. Molten. Liquid uranium cores. Chain reactions. China syndrome. TEPCO made Fukushima plant into a machine for generating radioactive water, radioactive fallout, perpetual fallout for infinity. Chernobyl, they filled it up with cement, turned it into a big cement block and put a building over it, called it a sarcophagus full of holes. Because if the gas is built up in there and oxygen comes in and detonates, and you never get in there, like they sacrificed hundreds of thousands of people to get at Chernobyl. Chernobyl was a paper towel. It was horrifying, but it was a paper towel compared to what's going on. And the last one, nuclear fallout will engulf Taiwan starting April the 6th. People should stay home and immediately take off their clothes and cleanse nuclear contaminants. So they warned their public. And South Korea closed 100 schools or something, 110 schools. Because of nuclear fallout. North America, nothing here, man. Right, they roll out, just stabbed you in the back every chance they got. Right? You got it from every angle, too. You got it Every freaking angle. All the experts who are treating your children come out and stabbed you. It's really staggering, claiming it's harmless and innocuous and benign and it can't hurt you and it's everywhere, it's good for you. These are all fables. Your Geiger counter, my Geiger counter there is not going to read anything on a banana unless it's man-made. It's not going to read anything in the beer. See, your body's full of natural, what they call a radiation, but it's not. You can't put the stuff that's in your body in a nuclear reactor. Right? You can't. You have natural potassium. So a gram of natural potassium is a fuck all. Who cares? You can go ahead and eat it. A gram of man-made has enough atoms to kill all the animals and all the people on the earth, distribute it out, and allow them to manifest into illnesses and diseases and eventually cancers decades down the road. An energetic hot particle from a chain reaction. But say a gram of man-made can power 1 million 1-watt light bulbs, like your powerful 1-watt light bulbs for your big flashlights, your new LED flashlights, 1 watts. A gram of man-made can power 1 million. A gram of fucking natural stuff can't power anything, period. So there's a big difference. There's 400 train car loads to get a man-made gram to refine it down. But for natural stuff, it's fuck all. It's everywhere. It's good for you. But this is the lie over and over and over that these people that are treating children for cancer are out there trying to indoctrinate everybody else with. It's horrific. It's horrifying that this is actually happening. And there can be no doubt that this is happening because this, I show you all the time. Everybody's doing it to you. All your universities is selling you that same lie on purpose. Like the used car salesman trying to sell you a vehicle with a guaranteed gonna die on you when you get off the lot, and they're gonna put up a business sign. These are not scam artists. These are demons. This is fucking demonic to do that to my planet, to your planet, to our planet, or to anything else in the solar system. It's truly reprehensible. And they kill everyone. That's right, Dib. They kill everyone and everything. And, we're back at that. We're at the end of the stream again. And I end the stream, I know the last number of months the same way all the time. I'm not worn out. I'm not burnt out. I'm not tired. I'm not giving up. I'm not slowing down. Anything near that. That can't be done. We're in too much trouble. I humiliate myself every day publicly coming here and asking people to donate to me to help me get the equipment I need. And so they're never coming back. This is an extinction event for the Pacific Ocean. And these depictions here I put there to show you, even if I fill the beach up with people, the couple of algae that are left, if they disappear, there'll be nothing there, and all the species on the left are gone. You won't find it no matter how many people you put there. It's gone. I took the pictures on the right. These are the same spot as the ones on the left. It's authentic pictures. Everything is gone. It's all gone. And it's not going to come back, and that's why all the animals are emaciated and starving to death and dying. And so I've done everything imaginable for the last several years to have a conversation. I got 6 gag orders out of it. And I'm a little bit unorthodox just because I'm under siege constantly. I'm under attack endlessly. I have to raise the money the hard way. I have to ask for people to support me. And it's the most humbling thing imaginable to have to ask all the time like I do. But I understand that as much as I hate it, I got no options. I have to do it. Silence is not an option for me. I can't sit in silence. And I just can't. I just can't. I have to fight with everything I got. I have to build an empire if that's what it takes. I have to build a huge operation just to go out there on the ocean and do what I done. 260 days, up to 5 months without me coming home. And I done all of this because it had to be done. Somebody had to go look and find out whether it was real or not. Someone had to document it. Someone had to share it. Someone had to provide it for the rest of the planet. Somebody had to put it together. Somebody had to organize it. And that was my calling. Your calling. Our calling. I couldn't do it without everybody's support. But also it couldn't have been done without my drive, without my determination, without my indelible ability to endure hardship and the agony that they put up on me, the humiliation they tried to attempt to smear me, and vilify me and demonize me in the media, the absolute siege that I've been under, the gag orders, the threats, the constant assaults, the constant demonization. And I'm not a bad person. I'm fucking solid. I'm as good as gold. I'm the real deal. And I reject everybody that has ever done that to me. You wouldn't do it to my face. I'd knock you the fuck out. Every one of you, one after another, all day long. And I wouldn't hurt a finger on my hand because I was morally justified. And every stroke would be the stroke of God behind me to knock you the fuck out. I can assure you. You could not do it to my face. You done it to destroy me, to protect the nuclear industry. You didn't do it for any moral reasons. You done it because you're demons. Because you're horrible fucking monsters and your legacy is nothing but misery and agony. I see a brighter light at the end of that tunnel for future generations and the 8 million species on this planet. I will fight for them and for you, whether you or hate me. I don't care. I will fight for you. Someday you will realize that Dana was the good guy. Dana was the morally driven guy. Dana had the upper hand, had the moral high ground, and he knew it. And so did the people that believed in him and stood by him. They were the rock. They were what made the world better. We are by definition good. They are by definition evil. And we better not catch them, because we will stomp them into the ground and we will snuff them out like the fucking disgusting parasites, the maggots, the vicious thugs that they are. Hugs for everybody. Don't forget, Dana do love you. No matter what, I will fight for you. Hugs for you. I'm currently the holder of 6 gag orders here in Canada. I got the record for gag orders. We call them gold medals for activism. They're nothing to be ashamed of. Quite proud of them. I'm going to get it tattooed on my old dried up skinny bones one of these days. The man who pleaded for sanity. And when telling the truth became a crime, then we knew the world had changed forever. And now we live in that world. And now we are going to reclaim that world. This is our world. And we are going to claw back from the grips of all the crazies. As we begin this show today, I asked people to support me, and they did. I asked people to stand alongside of me through thick and thin. And I will lead the way forward to find out whether this is really truly happening or not, whether Fukushima was a real event or not. I will climb and crawl over everything and find that truth. And so before we went out and done expeditions on the ocean, we had covered thousands of headlines. Is that not a responsible way to approach this? Was that not an incredibly unusual way to approach this? And if you put it into context, as far as I know, I'm the only person on the planet that runs his own show 5 days a week on YouTube, 1 hour live streams, humble as they may be. And so maybe you should give me just a few moments of your time and hear me out. Maybe you should think about there are other versions besides what you're fed on every single media on the planet at the one time. Because what happens in your real world, for what people call their real world, is if CNN come out with a story, you'll find it in 1,500 The same picture, the same author in 1,500 medias across the country. And everybody told you the exact same story, the same picture, and the same paragraphs by the same person. I bring you an incredible diversity from worldwide. An incredible amount of information, visuals, peer review studies. Now, we went on this journey because we didn't want to believe that a system that we live in was going to be flawed. But it got much more mysterious and actually darker than that as we started crawling down that road and looking deep at the industry.
I'm involved very much in transplants, bone marrow transplants. Because you may know that we use extraordinarily high doses of radiation to prepare people for transplants, and that very much simulates the situation that could occur or did occur in Chernobyl and other radiation accidents. So my colleagues and I are the people who actually have hands-on experience treating high-dose radiation victims. And,
wow, eh? Now, so you should be able to say, well, Dana, you know, he's an expert. Oh, my goodness. He's radiating people for limb transplants. Not that they're successful with that. They're determined to make it work, just like they did with nuclear. But it's really something. He's got an amazing amount of accolades, degrees, references, working at the biggest institutions on the planet. Now listen to him explain about the difference between Fukushima and your daily life.
Just looking at comparable risks of death is another way of trying to express these things to the public. So getting 1 millisievert of radiation, which is just on the bottom, is equivalent to just smoking just 14 cigarettes, period.
Now, they want to move people back into a zone with more than a millisievert, which, by the way, is how you hide the radiation. My Geiger counter is real time. Put my fingers out there for you. Is real time. It counts per minute. Now, this same person is treating your loved ones and children for cancers for decades with man-made radiation. But when he's talking about it publicly, about the accident, he claims it's like eating peanut butter, like spending 20 days in New York, like driving 600 kilometers in a car. These are, you can't ignore the fact that he's lying. Flying 40,000 kilometers in a plane is not as bad as 600 kilometers in a car. Okay. I think you should tell a lot of the other crazies that one first. Kayaking for 15 minutes is more dangerous than 40,000 kilometers in a plane. Now, you're water. How did water become so dangerous to you? Well, he's lying. But he's the same person who's treating you and your friends and your families and your loved ones and making decisions for hospitals and institutions to treat your friends and families and your loved ones with man-made radiation. So he has a lot of motive to come out and lie to you, claiming it's obviously walking in the sunshine, spending 20 days in New York is what he's talking about. Is more dangerous than a meltdown. How is that even conceivable? Well, this is Professor Jerry Thomas.
Well, in terms of the actual risks, there aren't any that anybody needs to be worried about.
Now, she'll go on with the exact same stuff. And she treats children in the UK for cancer with man-made radiation. They all die. 97% of them will die before they would have without it. But here she is saying there will be no health effects from a nuclear meltdown. We got the head of NASA and now the head of the climate change movement, the 350.org inspiration, James Hansen.
There are multiple reasons, I think, why there's opposition to nuclear power plants. nuclear energy is harder for people to understand, the idea of radiation. I mean, radiation is natural. The Earth is bombarded by radiation all the time.
So you can't have a conversation with any of these people without them flipping that switch and claiming that it's natural. It's everywhere. You're bombarded all the time. Is that why we got terrorist laws? Is that why we're trying to get Yucca Mountain? Is that why South Korea is going to get rid of nuclear and everybody's freaking out and having seizures in the industry because South Korea just ditched them? Just after Switzerland ditched them. Just after Germany ditched the nuclear industry. What was the response? Was to attack these countries. So Hansen in other interviews have claimed 3 Mile Island residents got the same dose as they would flying across the country. So he parroted it, the guy who's doing leg transplants repeatedly. This is John Boyce coming up.
Something too on the meter, just to mention, even though I spent all this time right next to the reactors, I received more radiation on my transcontinental flights from Tokyo to Washington than I did at the reactor site. So I tried to use that in terms of... Yeah.
So more on a flying high, which once again, these are...
Just looking at comparable risks of death is...
Right, and so he's trying to compare, once again, to these guys, potato chip people. Now, John Boyce, he treats children and veterans and everybody else for cancer and makes policies and rules and regulations for governments to take man-made isotopes, and there's 6 times more breast cancer around a nuclear power plant. And so then finally, the last peddler of, this is from Berkeley, Vetter.
There's probably someone on the panel foolish enough to address that question, but I'm going to ask Dr. Vetter to talk briefly. You haven't had an opportunity. I know you're an expert in dosimetry and measurements. So,
well, the reason I haven't had an opportunity to talk is because there are no problems in the medical field.
Notice how everybody laughed. So what you just seen was this circus, this incredible circus of experts who treat people for cancer, lying to everybody, manipulating everybody that's listening to these lectures and presentations and got the pamphlets and the memos. And these are the experts that consult with, governments consult with, hospitals consult with, institutions will consult with. There's about 100 of them. And same people are on UNSCLEAR or on IRPA or on UN or on the NRA or on IAEA. They're all the same people. They wear different badges. And they all got this incredible story that nuclear is harmless. But so why are you able to utilize it or claiming you can utilize it? Now, all the studies and all the animals also, it wasn't just studies on... Now, cancer is the last thing that shows up, right? Cancer is the last one to show up from radiation treatment, unless you're getting medical treatment where they're bombarding you from it, and you have cancer, they're going to multiply it and finish you off. So 97%, it was 3% in Australia almost, and 2.1% in America lived longer than 5 years, which is what was the life expectancy without the treatment. So everybody died with the treatment. But they knew this way back in the day that this had no health benefit. But now almost every hospital in North America. So I have 6 gag orders because I'm the only person out there willing to say, wait a second, let's go look at this. And so we did. And I can bring you so much material, it's sickening and dizzy, but it's necessary. If you don't learn it if you don't understand, they have an incredible fear of anybody talking about nuclear. They lose their minds. Anybody dare talk about nuclear. Talking about nuclear is the forbidden fruit, so to speak. They will snap and lose their minds. We're on YouTube, so it's easy to censor me, and they have 6 gag orders, so they actively censor everything. They watch me, monitor me. That was the idea of the 6 gag orders. So thumbs up, please. Anyway, Make a stand. If you got a Facebook, you got to share me. If you got a Twitter, you have to help someone like me. If not you, then who? Put me in your bookmark. I noticed they took away about 20 of my subscribers yesterday in one go. Again, daily occurrences with me. Just jack you 20 subscribers and then you just sit there at the same number for 2 days. You go up 3 numbers and you go down 10 numbers. And if you get a big hit and you go up 100, within a week you lose every one of them and nobody says nothing. Nobody can beat my narrative. Nobody can beat the show. Nobody can beat the amount of equipment and energy and put into it and research to tell the story. The betrayal now by Arnie Gunnarsson is complete. We are the rescue team. Like, I got 6 gag orders for putting on the gear and trying to save the planet, the 8 million other species, and everybody else by proxy. But I'm up against this monolithic industry. But the monolithic industry has to understand they're fictional characters meant to indoctrinate our children that radiation is somehow going to make you Superman. In reality, it's going to lead to their own demise because we are going to go back to the old way of dealing with our problems. We don't want to do that. The 8 million species on the planet are demanding that we rise together and deal with the problems, whether by force or by common sense. We will take the planet back. You might think you have a 100-year road plan. We got pissed off people on our side. We can look 4 million cameras in UK. Everybody walks out the door and tears down a camera. There goes your 4 million cameras. There goes your fucking police state in one fell swoop. In less than 20 minutes, gone. And so we covered space and what? Go up and find 8 million more species and destroy that before we get our shit together? Yeah, we should be able to go out into space, but not take nuclear with us. Not under the current administration and people on the planet's ideology that we just lie our way through all of our issues. We don't deal with it. Therefore, we will kill another planet as soon as we get there. We have no intentions of being stewards to our own planet or our own people because we sit idly by while a handful of monsters are allowed to wreck the planet. So the universities have all failed me, and all the media have failed me, and all the government agencies have failed to hold these people to account. Berkeley doesn't hold them accountable. Right? John Boyce, crazy John Boyce, James Hansen, all of these people, Jerry Thomas. Here we are, we're looking at Harvard and Yale and Berkeley and Stanford, MIT and Oxford. We call out all of these institutions by showing that they're lying and manipulating. And so everybody's doing it, and the media pumps that out there and refuses to fact check it. But look how fast they can fact check Trump. Look how fast they can fact check anything to do with North Korea. Look how fast they can fact check anything to do with demonizing, vilifying me, and they did. Not that they got anything to work with on me. That's the whole point of me existing. So 6 gag orders. You know, Canada should be humiliated. I should be the trending subject. I am the Canadian sun. Period. I'm the planet's sun, but I'm the Canadian sun. Because I have 6 gag orders. I didn't go to jail. They gave me 6 gag orders because jail would have turned, the story would have broke out. But with 6 gag orders and an effective media campaign to vilify me without mentioning that side of it. Look what the Japan Times done when I was convicted, when they got the conviction on me in Victoria. Japan Times came out like I was Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden. We got him. They celebrated a Canadian getting 6 gag orders against the nuclear industry. so he couldn't come out and hold him accountable. And that way they can watch the ocean perish and pretend nothing is happening. Now, I showed you the experts claiming it's harmless. Now, the original accident, think about this.
The fact that the reactor in Japan is 100 times more powerful than the one in Chernobyl.
The reactor in Japan is 100 times more powerful. Well, it had reactor cores stored above it. It had reactor cores stored above it. I'm under a lot of stress, and I just needed to put out a video that was obvious for anybody that is coming across my site, and they can look at the headline and say, Canadian with 6 gag orders. And it's just horrifying that I went, I went through, what was it, 19 lawyers altogether? So you lose faith immediately when that happens to you. And I was railroaded, absolutely set up. I beat these guys, demons, fair and square. And these were vicious thugs. The prosecutor and the judge were totally cutting me off all the time, wouldn't let me talk. I had to defend myself because I couldn't get a lawyer. There was no way to beat him anyway. It was stacked against me from the get-go. They stacked the charges up a whole year before they finally charged me. They charged me after I came off the ocean, off the expeditions, and was uploading the documentation to my website. I'm not a bad person, that's why I'm here. And so I got 6 gag orders because when I came ashore and started posting that information, they understood they had to knock me down, and they did. But what they ended up doing was almost putting a fatal blow to the planet. And so I was forced to come back stronger and risk going to jail, risk being assassinated, risk, and then under constant siege to accommodate, to get to this stage. All of these are, I know, that somebody has to take the blow. Somebody got to take it on the chin. And I don't mind at all. I just like to give a few shots back. And so I need that equipment to fire my shots across their bow. And I can guarantee you, we are the final nail in the nuclear industry coffin because that is appropriate. That has to be done. Somebody has to exist. I'm not asking for very much. I'm asking for $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 in donations so I can stop asking for a change and start doing stuff again. It's not like I don't have a plan. It's not like I haven't done this in increment. Building the camera was extraordinary, difficult, piece by piece by piece, but that's accomplished. We need a computer now to render it. We need a gimbal to make it effective, to make it efficient, to make it work proper, to take the load off my shoulders. And I don't mind it. I'll do it the hard way if necessary. I'm not going to complain, but I have to come out and ask because that's what my heart tells me. That's what my soul tells me. That's why I have to come and do what I've been doing. That's why I push so hard to get it, because I can't do it without it. I got to fit into their paradigm, everybody else's. I got to be able to meet that qualification, and I got to get it and get used to it and get the kinks out of it, and kinks out of me and the flaws out of me, and get used to all that new software and that color correction, this incredible amount of work I've now challenged myself and everybody else to help me accomplish is the evolution of where we should have been last year, but because of the gag orders and the vicious attacks from all the mainstream media and industries, this disruption to our train of thought, it slowed us down, but it didn't stop us. It didn't fucking wear me down. It just slowed us down. I'm back, twice as strong. I'll get my way at some point, and then we'll get them at the same time. Hugs for everybody.
If Japan has nothing to hide, why are they hiding Japan? Why does Japan not even exist anymore? Why is it that I can show you endless lies now for 988 days, I believe this is, of endless lies, just endless, lie, non-stop. That's their legacy. It's never told the truth once, not a single time. Not one freaking time have they told us the truth. Fabrication, misdirections, misrepresentation, and outright outrageous, deadly, vicious lies of how sick and twisted and demented these people actually are. They won't let the world come in and deal with Fukushima. They haven't got it under control. They can't get it under control. They're an operating company, not an engineering company. It's ran by the mafia down there on top of that. It's owned by the government. Like abandoned Japan. If we didn't have Fukushima in our face all the time, that's what I'd be screaming every day. If you ever fix it, that'll be my next video was, now let's abandon Japan. To hell with them. Seriously, to hell with them. I got no respect for it now. There's 200 million people there. Go take your country back. Go take your country back. Pick up fucking rocks. Go take your country back. Take it back now before you're killed. 200 million of you, if you want to do it, you can do it. They can't do nothing about it. Go destroy them. And the whole world will come and help you in a heartbeat. You have to take care of it yourself first. They got us all pushed away, marginalized. You got to pick up rocks if you got to. Make bow and arrows. Go take your country back. Go take TEPCO back. That's what you got to do. That's the solution. It's not to sit there like you're subservient slaves. You're better than that. You can do it. It's like, you got to do it. Japan, I think that'll be my next video, how Japan takes his country back. By force, by violence, by the extreme. Not by voting, not by sitting there with your thumb up your ass all day, not by walking in the streets, by running in the streets, by setting fire to everything they got. Burn them out of there. That's what you got to do. You got to burn them to the ground right now before you kill this planet and every life on it. That's coming. I've seen this now coming at us through the depleted uranium. Now we see it coming at us through a radiated ocean that in 2 months' time is going to be right here on my coast. Any idea how terrifying that is for me? That's terrifying. I understand what's coming. What's coming every day? These death plumes that are wafering up out of that into the atmosphere and the stratosphere and circumventing this planet. We're not talking about background radiation. We're talking about strontium, plutonium, 1300 weaponized isotopes. And you can't find out what came our way unless you got 1300 Geiger counters that are calibrated to those isotopes. Radiation is pure energy. It's purer than any other energy imaginable, and we have nothing compared to it. It just pumps out energy for thousands of years. A lot of people just want to use the isotopes that have a half-life of 30 years, or a half-life of 2 years, or a half-life of 8 days. Let's skip past the 1300 isotopes that'll never go away. And that are pumping out so much energy you can't even wrap your minds around it. I can't even, per second, wrap my mind around the accumulation per square meter of what this stuff is capable of and is doing. We know it's out there. It's missing. And all the lies, the endless, it's been non-stop lies. It's been non-stop for 988 days. Non-stop lies.